Hi guys, my name's Calum and this is Goals and Gossip. Today I'm back for another video and today is a highly requested one. Today I'm going to be doing Premier League predictions and get ready for some controversy. Thank you for all the good support over the last videos. My latest videos nearly got over 300 views and that's all down to you guys. I really appreciate that. We also smashed the like goal of 25 likes last video. So let's just bump up another 10. Let's make it 35 likes for this video. And if you could go and hit that thumbs up button, I'd really appreciate it and it helped my channel grow. Now, without further ado, let's get into the video. So I'm going to go from 20th place to first. What a better place to start than with Fulham. Yeah, I think they're going to finish 20th. They've made a couple of good signings, to be fair. I think they brought in Areola on loan yesterday. Well, when I'm filming this was yesterday. They signed him on loan and I think he'll be a very good addition to them. But I don't think he'll be enough to keep them up. Also, I don't think that Scott Parker has enough Premier League experience to, you know, stop Fulham getting relegated for 2 seasons in a row from the Premier League. In 19th place, I've gone with some people they were playing against last season. West Bromwich Albion. Now, I was planning on doing a kits review video. However, I didn't get round to it. And if you want that, please smash a like on this video and I'll do it after I've released this. But I'm not going to lie, spoiler alert, I had West Brom 20th. Their kit is absolutely horrible. It's like a barcode FC. But of course, we can't let that reflect what I think they're going to do this season. But I think they will finish 19th. They have brought in a few good players. They have brought Grady Diangana from West Ham, who I think is a very promising signing. Obviously, Mark Noble spoke out saying he didn't want him to go. If I was a West Ham fan, I would not agree with the sale of that player. I mean, he's got something about him. I saw him, I think, do a rainbow flick over someone last season, something like that. He's a ridiculous, skillful player, and they shouldn't have let him go. Now, 18th is a controversial one. And I've gone with another one of the worst kits in the Premier League, Crystal Palace. Now, okay, they've kept Zaha. I think that's brilliant business by them. They've also signed Abire Eze from Queen's Park Rangers, who I think is a very good signing also. But did you see them in the second half of the season last season? I mean, they were awful. They were second lowest scorers in the Premier League as a club, only scoring 31 goals in 38 games. I mean, if you want to stay up, that is not the mentality you want. And of course, their first half saved them in that sense. But I don't think they're going to have enough. Apart from Zaha, maybe Eze. And if they get Batshuayi on loan, maybe, are them 3 going to be enough to get them goals? Are they all going to get into double figures? No, I don't think they will, in my opinion. I think Zaha will get less than 10 goals, I reckon. One of them's probably going to get injured. I don't think it's looking promising for Palace, and I don't think it's looking promising for this club either, who I've put 17th, West Ham. Now, I just said about Grady Diangana being sold, and I think there's a lot of things going wrong at West Ham at the moment. They desperately need players. I think they need a couple of wingers, maybe a centre mid. They need something like that, and they just bid for 30 mil for Tarkowski. I mean, that is the only deal they've tried to complete this window. And I think from West Ham's perspective, at how big their stadium is, how big their club is, they should be able to do more business than that. And I think they'll just survive this season in 17th place. 16th, I've gone with Brighton Hove Albion. I think they've done some good business. They've got Ben White signed up to a new deal, which is very good. Held off interest from a lot of other clubs, including Leeds. They've also bought Veltman, who I thought a lot of people brushed that under the carpet a bit. But if he gets rolling, then I think he could be a very good signing. He's been brought in from Ajax for under £1 million, I think, actually. But I think he's been quite underrated by quite a lot of fans. But I think Brighton will be safe in 16th this season. 15th. There has been one promoted club I haven't said yet. That is Leeds United. Of course, one of the main reasons I think they're staying up this season is Marcelo Bielsa. I think he's an incredible manager. He has great philosophy. Some of the greatest managers, like Pep Guardiola, have learned from him, haven't they? And some of them say he's one of the best in the game. And, I mean, we're going to see next season. I think Leeds will stay up very convincingly in 15th place. But it wouldn't surprise me if they push further up the table. Now, 14th place. A lot of people doubted whether they would stay up or not last season. They did it on the final day. It's Aston Villa. I put them in a very generous 14th. Now, if they lost Jack Grealish, I'm telling you, they'd be with Palace, maybe. And maybe in between Palace and West Ham, going down and staying up. Instead, they're 14th place, and that was helped by the deal they brought in yesterday, Ollie Watkins. Now, of course, he came from Brentford, who were extremely unlucky not to get promoted last season, but he's going to be very good for Aston Villa, in my opinion, and he could be enough to keep them up. Not on his own, obviously. They've obviously brought in Matty Cash from Nottingham Forest as well, who I think is a very good signing. Young player, very promising, and 14th, I think, for Villa. 13th. Now, if you're a Newcastle fan at the moment, you'd have mixed emotions. You could have become one of the biggest clubs in the Premier League. However, they've just signed Ryan Fraser on a free transfer, Calum Wilson for 20 mil, and Jamal Lewis for 15 mil. Three very promising players. They've all shown their class. I think they'll start very comfortably in 13th, Newcastle. I think it might be a decent season for them. 12th, I've gone with a club that it's a Marmite club. You love them or you hate them. It's Burnley Football Club. Now, when you play against them, you hate it. They sit back, they defend, they don't really push forwards that much, but take nothing away from Sean Dyche and his team. They have done incredibly. They've spent hardly any money. I'm not sure if they've even brought in any players this season, but honestly, I think he's done an absolutely incredible job at Burnley, and I'd love him to pieces if I was a Burnley fan. Now, 11th place is a club that surprised us all last season. I think we can all say that. Sheffield United and Chris Wilder. Now, they are a club who have brought in a couple of new faces. They've brought in Max Lowe and Jayden Bogle from Derby County, who are two very promising fullbacks. They've also brought in Ethan Ampadu from Chelsea, who was successful at Leipzig last season, despite not getting that many opportunities. But I think we could see the best of him in the Premier League. I think it will be a very comfortable finish in the Premier League for Chris Wilder this season, and Sheffield United, 11th place for them. 10th place, I've gone with Southampton. Now, I'm very happy with Southampton. They gave us Pierre-Emile Højbjerg, the best Pierre in North London, as they say. Okay. But Tottenham aside, we're focusing on Southampton, and they've had a good window. Obviously, they've brought in a couple of players, Mohamed Salisu from the German league. They've also brought in Kyle Walker-Peters from Spurs, who impressed there after a loan deal last season. But I think they'll be very comfortable. Obviously, they have Danny Ings, who's been playing for England recently. Only got 22 minutes saying that, but he's a very good player. And I think he might do extremely well next season. I don't think he'll do as well. Probably not 20 goals, but I reckon he'll be around the 15 mark. I think Redmond's a great player that they've kept at the club, who's been very impressive for them. Well done, Southampton. 9th place. Now, I think this club would be right up there in one of the best windows in the Premier League this season, probably after Chelsea. It's Everton. Now, we all know Everton are a huge club, but as a younger fan, I haven't really seen Everton when they've been in like the top of their game. But surely this transfer window has proved that they are a huge club. They've brought in James Rodriguez from Real Madrid for 20 mil, having been loaned out to Bayern for the last couple of years. They've also brought in Allen, who's a lot of people are underestimating this still, I think. He's been brought in, I think, 40 mil, was it, from Napoli. Very highly rated over there. Brazilian midfielder, centre mid. And, of course, Decore. He's been a bit overshadowed by the two players, but he's a good Premier League proven centre midfielder who is very promising, and I'm really looking forward to seeing them three players all in the Premier League next season. Obviously, it's the Ancelotti effect. They're all coming because of him. And obviously, Everton Football Club, they've kept hold of Richarlison. They've got Calum up front still. I think it could be a very good season for Everton. And it wouldn't surprise me if they push up into the Europa League positions, maybe into 7th place. Then this team will be very disappointed they're not going to the Champions League this season. It's Leicester City. Now, they've brought in one player, Timothy Castagne, a player who Spurs were after as well, and PSG, I think. But Spurs ended up with other replacements in the end. But I think they've had a decent window. It is quite surprising how they've brought in another right-back, even though they've got Pereira and Justin already. Maybe he can play left-back as well, but I'm not completely sure about that. But I think Leicester will have another solid season. I don't think they'll get European football this year again, so enjoy it while you can, Leicester, and if you win it, you will be back in it next season. I think they'll have a solid season under Brendan Rodgers, class manager. Jamie Vardy still going strong. He's going to be 34 this season, still going strong. Leicester, 8th place for you. 7th place, I've gone with Wolverhampton Wanderers. Now, they've hit the headlines in the past week for signing a young Portuguese striker, I think Silva, 35 million for an 18-year-old. Yeah, okay, it's very overwhelming. Now, it must be very good to be a Wolves fan at the moment because you're splashing the cash. We all know you're a huge club. You proved it last season. You nearly got European football. Fell away at the last minute. But I think you've strengthened. You've done very well. And you haven't lost any of your key players. Except from an absolute player and a half. The GOAT. Matt Doherty, Spurs through and through. 6th place, I've gone with the more worst team in North London, Arsenal. Obviously, they finished the season with a bang last campaign with a win in the FA Cup against Chelsea. Obviously, Aubameyang's very close to signing a new deal. They've brought in players like Willian, who I think can be very good for them. William Saliba's obviously coming back for his loan, and Gabriel, who's been hyped up by a lot of their fans and Premier League fans in general. But I think he will be a good player for them, and obviously strengthening the defence is what they need the most. You could see one of them debut also in the first game, as Luis is out injured, I think. So, I mean, Arsenal fans might be relieved at that, to be fair. But full credit to Arsenal, they've had a good window, and yeah, on with the next thing. Now, this was a very hard one. If I was using my heart, I'd put them right up there. But if I'm using my head, I think we need a few more signings to challenge with the Champions League positions. I put Spurs in 5th. Now, this was a tough one. Us or United, I thought it through a lot, but I've come to the conclusion that they've brought in a couple of quality players this season. Obviously, they're still being linked to Sancho, but they've brought in Donny van de Beek. I think that one, he strengthened their centre midfield more, and that's the kind of player we needed, to be honest. But I think we've brought in a couple of good players. All right, Pierre-Emile Højbjerg from Southampton. He was their captain at one point, only 25 years of age. And Matt Doherty. I don't know. Honestly, I would like a Wolves fan to tell me why they let him go. Every time we played against Wolves, this is no exaggeration, I thought he was extremely good. And I'm not sure why they would have sold him. Most goals by a Premier League defender in the past 2 years while he's been in the Prem. So yeah, Spurs in 5th for me. And 4th, I was talking about them a minute ago, is Manchester United. They've strengthened in Donny van de Beek. They're very close to getting a Sancho deal, I think. Personal terms agreed. However, the fee still needs to be agreed, so maybe next season for him. But I think it'll be a strong season by them next season, and there's no reason they can't go up a few places, go down a few places. You know, it's going to be a good season for Man United, and it will be interesting to see where they finish. Now, if you're a Chelsea fan at the moment, you're the happiest person on the earth because you've signed Kai Havertz, Timo Werner, Hakim Ziyech, Ben Chilwell, Thiago Silva. They've had an unbelievable window, and I think they're a couple of players away from pushing for the league. I think if Frank Lampard doesn't do a lot of things with this club next season, maybe win it, they've got to win a trophy. I'm like, this is coming from a Spurs fan, but they've got to win a trophy, because with the amount of money they spent, if they don't win, there'll be a lot of pressure put on Frank Lampard's shoulders. But I think it's going to be a promising season for Chelsea Football Club, and third place for you. Now, the top two. I thought this through a lot. I thought Liverpool won the league last season very promisingly, 18 points. But we've got Man City, spent a fortune again. And it's a toss-up between the both. I'm not fully convinced by one side, but I'm going to go with Man City. I predicted this last season when I wasn't doing YouTube videos, and I was wrong. But I'm going to stick with my gut and go with it again this season. Obviously, Liverpool, like, you know, kept their whole spine of their team, which is incredible. Also added to it with the young Greek left-back, Tsimikas. I think that's how you say it, something like that. And Man City have got Ake, Ferran Torres, probably a few more players trying to get Koulibaly right now. So I think they will do it, in my opinion. Yes, guys, thank you for watching my Premier League predictions video. Also, on my social media yesterday, if you didn't see it, follow me down below. First link in the description. I released the code for my Fantasy Premier League. Now, if you want to join that, just enter the code once you've created your team and you'll be in. Now, thank you for watching this video. Drop a like down below. Please subscribe. Follow all my social medias. First link in the description. And that is Goals and Gossip out. See you later.